Hello and welcome back to Really Good Appears. My name is Gary O'Brien and this is where I get some of my very good friends on to chat about and discuss all kinds of movies. And joining me today, once again, it's Sorcha and she's here to talk about the 1974 adaptation of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. So stick around, we hope you enjoy.
So tell me Gary, does your mom love murder mysteries? Because I'm convinced that every mom ever loves murder mysteries.
She used to, what's that one, what's the thing? There was definitely a TV show she watched, I just can't remember, about murders.
Miss Marple, Frost, Poirot.
Oh yeah, I think she watched those. I would say so. I gotta look up the name of it, but yeah.
What was the one? Midsummer Murders.
That's it. She used to watch all the fucking time. Yeah, that's it.
Oh man, Midsummer Murders in our house. Do you remember? We've talked about this before. This is like a callback. The the magazines with the whatever. We would get magazines with Midsummer Murder DVDs, and now looking back, I'm like, what a swizz! We got one episode on one disc per magazine, and we have so many DVDs somewhere. Oh my God. Of like the first 3 seasons of Midsummer Murders or something.
You should do your own podcast, like a side project of a Midsummer Murder podcast.
The first episode of Midsummer Murders goes off on one where there's like incest immediately, and you're like, whoa, what's happening in the small like towns of this fake county in the UK. But yeah, I don't know. Like, women tend to be into crime, and mammies tend to be into murder mysteries. Yeah. So, what are your feelings on murder mystery movies and like?
I think I definitely talked about it in another Knives Out. I definitely talked about it on that, where I wouldn't have watched many Poirot or Midsummer Murders or anything like that. But I do love a good. I do love a good whodunit, like in movies and such. And so Knives Out, love that. So when you suggested this one, I was kind of like, I'm into this. Now, the only problem was I had seen the 2017 version, so I kind of knew what was going to happen. But look, it's a completely different movie in a way, so
they are
I was able to
so different.
But I take it that you're a fan, because this was one you wanted to do for a while.
Yeah. Again, it's funny, like, we joke about it, but it's true. A lot of movies that I'm into are not modern movies. I'm very bad at keeping up to date with like anything that comes out, but anything pre-1990, I'm all over it. So this is,
I told you, you need to move away from that landline. It is impossible to reach you.
We still have a landline, and every now and again it'll ring and it gives me a fucking heart attack.
Because sometimes we're like, be booking cinema tickets and you're like, hey, can you fax those over to me, please?
My telegram machine is down. Can you just like send it in the evening post?
Dear Gary, stop. What time will we meet for pints? Stop.
No, just dear Gary, stop.
Stop.
Just stop.
How have you been knowing what the girls on Tinder have been replying to me with?
But very formal. They're very polite.
Yeah, I do appreciate the formality.
But what were we saying? Yeah, this is one that we had. My mom was a big murder mystery head, and I don't know, gone are the days of the early 2000s where we would take DVDs with us on holiday. You know, did you ever do that?
Oh, wow. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the ones that got thrown in, so I have rewatched it a lot. And without getting too quickly immediately into the plot, the very beginning of this movie terrified me as a kid.
What, the credit scene goes on?
Actually, no, sorry, there's the long credits.
No, those credit scenes are jarring. They do not fit the tone of this movie at all.
They don't. But the nice pink background and black.
Yeah, it reminded me of the beginning of Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the weird flashing.
It's very like that.
Yeah.
That's clearly like what they're taking the piss out of. But also, like, yes, we will get into spoilers of this, but the story, like, this movie is 1974, but the story is even older, so I don't know what to tell you if it's been spoiled for you. But yeah, no, the very, very beginning where it introduces this separate murder, where it's like the creepy music and the girl gets kidnapped and just these flashes of newspaper headlines terrified me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it went on to become one of my favourite movies, though, so we worked through it.
Brief aside on that opening scene, they kept calling it Baby Armstrong, like the child. That child was not a baby. It was like at least 7. Because it could be slung over a shoulder. Do you know what I mean? That's like, you know, like if you steal it. Here's how I would steal a child. But you know what I mean? I was like, that child's 7. Stop calling it baby. Anyway, that's my point. And then there's weird newspapers with like, you know, it's like a picture of like the the driveway or something like that, and it went like car went this way, baby was stolen here, and it's just like shows two sad parents in the corner, but it's like cartoon versions of them.
Oh, so good.
And it's like the New York Times.
The expert illustrators that were like, parent sad.
Yeah.
Driver drove into the hedge. But yeah, should we give an overview?
So yeah, I know you said that like it's an old story and stuff, but I think a lot of people, and maybe I'm just projecting here, would know of it, but like wouldn't know the exact, plot. They would know about obviously the incident that occurred on the railway transport system.
The homicide upon the vehicular journey.
The railed vehicular vehicle. But they wouldn't know the different characters and the ultimate question, the answer to the question of who done it. So I guess for anyone that wouldn't know what this movie is about, tell them about what Murder on the Orient Express is about.
Well, the Orient Express is a train that probably doesn't run anymore because
last time in 2009.
Wow.
But I think the service stopped before this movie.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
We'll get into all that. But yeah, so it was like a luxury line between Istanbul and the UK. And Poirot is our dude. Poirot is our detective. He's our kind of point of view character. And he's called from Istanbul to England. He's on this train, and the train gets snowed in. It gets avalanched, basically. So they're stuck, and while they're stuck, a murder occurs. And they're like, oh, how great, we have a world-class detective on board. And hilarity ensues.
You do have to you have to be pretty fucking unlucky to want to kill someone on a train, and the pure chance coincidence that the world's greatest detective is on it. Actually, quick aside,
they were really taking a risk though. This is a very closed environment to do a murder in.
Yeah, just a quick aside, because you made me watch it. You told me to check out the 2017 trailer before we talked about this.
Yes.
And there's a line where Kenneth Branagh, I don't know if it was in this movie, but there's a line in that one where Kenneth Branagh goes, I am probably the world's greatest detective. I'm like, if you're saying probably, that means you haven't figured it out yet. And if you haven't figured it out yet, you're probably not the best detective in the world.
Oh, stop. Yeah,
Fuck you, Kenneth Branagh.
Fuck you, Kenneth Branagh. No, the vibe or the tone in that trailer is so Hollywood.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to just that movie in general.
Yeah, that's your basic thing. It's there's a murder on a train, and unluckily for the culprit, there is a world-class detective on board, and they're snowed in, so no one can go anywhere, and they solve the murder. Yeah,
and I guess they made a remake like we discussed, so usually that's the indication that the first one was good. But I kind of want to ask you why. I know you said you kind of like murder mysteries and such, and you kind of used to watch them as a kid, but why this one? Why do you think it's good? Why do you think you were always watching it? Why has it stuck around more than others?
I don't know if this is relatable content, but definitely the music I love. The music has always stuck with me. It's good. And we've got this cast of characters, man. We have got this ensemble cast of amazing actors and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I think there was something just very not romantic in the sense of relationship, but literature romantic. There's travel, there's intrigue. It's a period piece. It's set in the 30s, I think. It's it's all very glamorous and stuff. And there is sort of this twist that again, if you know the movie, you know the twist. You know the story, you know the twist. But I'd say at the time, whenever Agatha Christie wrote this, people were like, oh, okay, I don't know if this has been done before, which I'm into.
Yeah, and would you say, I think for me it was jarring in a sense to go, having seen the 2017 version first, and then going back to this.
Yes.
Because I know we're going to have to compare them because it's laughable not to. But in the case of so it took a bit of adjusting for me to sort of get used to, I suppose, the vibe or the tone of this movie in a way, because it's very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then, I guess, would you say someone who liked Knives Out would check this, or would it be too far removed from something like that?
It's more kind of muted than Knives Out, but no, if you liked the intrigue of Knives Out, I think you'd be into this.
Yeah.
It might not be exactly a 1-to-1 correlation, but I think anyone who's interested in murder mysteries, definitely revisit this over the 2017 version.
And then immediately watch the 2017 one.
Oh god, I
I
have so many issues with it. Like, so yeah, this one is, like I said, it's a bit more muted. Everyone's a bit more stiff upper lip. But if you can get over that, if you don't see that as an issue, if you like Sean Connery, Vanessa Redgrave, Michael
Which
York.
I'm so surprised you didn't sell me on immediately. I had to figure
I didn't want to give it away.
I saw he was in it because I didn't look up anything on it too much before I'd watched it, but I'd written like Murder on the Orient Express. You know when you like write it in to get the YouTube thing, it says like Sean Connery. I was like, fucking say that, and would have been episode 2 if you told me Sean Connery was in it.
No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to I didn't want to spoil anything. I didn't want to give anything away. Who else is in this? Anthony Perkins is in it.
Albert Finney. Who I have.
Judi Dench? Is Judi Dench?
No, that's the 2017 one.
Yeah, who's in this one?
Ingrid Bergman is probably.
Bergman, yes.
Yeah. There's a character. What's his actual name? Oh, wait, hold on. Where the fuck? See, they've loaded different names during the thing, and I forget who's who.
Don't worry, I know this movie inside and out, so we'll be fine.
Who's the husband who looks all posh and fancy?
The husband of the Countess.
Yes, what's his name?
That's Michael York.
Yes. Do you know what he's in? This is a quick.
He's in all the Austin Powers.
Yeah, he is. He's Basil Expedition. I was very happy about that. That's one of 3 very good Gary enjoyment. Gary facts. That'll be a new noise. Gary facts.
Just you going, Gary facts.
Gary facts.
Things I enjoy as a Gary.
Yeah, that is that's fucking chef's kiss, perfect. If you're a Gary, you're gonna love this fact. Basil Expedition is in this movie.
Oh, as a very fiery Hungarian prince or something.
But like even Albert Finney, here's another. I'll quickly move on to my next Gary fact. Which is so Albert Finney's in this, as is Sean Connery. And do you know what Albert Finney's last role was? Cinematic role. It was in Skyfall as a character called Kincaid, who was like the groundskeeper of James Bond's family home's estate thing. But it was actually a role that they were initially writing for Sean Connery to come back into the franchise as. But ultimately, I just don't think it worked out or whatever. And Albert Finney did it. So it was even better that Sean Connery and Albert Finney were both in this. Yes. And it was like Albert Finney's last role was one that was originally intended for Sean Connery.
Oh, it all comes full circle.
There you go.
And did you see that, basically, there are so many characters to keep track of in this movie that's why they chose such big names for the time. That's why they made it an ensemble cast. Mm-hmm. And they all basically agreed to do it because they wanted to hang out with the other actors. So it was all completely dependent on who said yes. If one of them had said no, we could have had a terrible domino effect where none of them did it.
Because I think I saw something about, and Lily was telling me about it because I was telling her we were doing this, and then she was like, oh my god, you need to read the book. And I was like, calm down, find other hobbies than reading. And
oh, Lily, with her ability to read, always showing off.
But what you call it? I think she sent me something about how Sean Connery was one of the first people cast, and they used him to get a good few people in. But I know there was people who wanted to work with Lauren Bacall. Yeah, I know she was another one that
I know that name,
but
I don't know if I've seen her in anything.
Oh wait, is this the one I have? I have a Sorcha fact as well. Yes, here's my Sorcha fact.
Oh my god,
things you'd enjoy as a Sorcha. She did a few voice acting roles. I don't know if you know her from anything in particular.
Not that I can recall. No.
She played she did the English version of a character in a little-known Studio Ghibli movie, Howl's Moving Castle. She plays the Witch of the Waste.
I did not realise. That's cool.
There's a good Sorcha fact for you.
That is a good Sorcha fact. Thank you. Did I say earlier Anthony Peck or something weird? Did I mean Gregory Peck?
You said Anthony Perkins, and I have no idea who that is.
Who's Anthony Perkins? I think I meant Gregory Peck.
Gregory Peck's not in this.
Who am I thinking? Who's the one who's in Psycho?
Oh, you're thinking of, what's his name? Oh, hold on, I have it written down here somewhere. Oh, yeah, no, it is Anthony Perkins, sorry.
Okay, so who's Gregory Peck? Who am
Gregory Peck, hold on, here we go. Hold on, Gregory Peck. We'll talk about this movie at some point. Yeah. Gregory Peck was in stuff like To Kill a Mockingbird. He's in To Kill a Mockingbird. He plays Atticus Finch. That's who that is. Yeah. But yeah, it's the guy from Psycho. It's Norman Bates.
Yes. Oh, so good. Like, the cast again is so good.
So he did this so this came out in 74. I can't remember when Psycho came out.
Me neither.
But do you
Probably
know when
earlier because it's black and white.
Yes, true, actually, that makes way more sense. And I know there was someone else in this movie who was actually in Psycho as well, as like a police officer in Psycho. I can't remember who was who. But I don't know who this fact is for, but let's just call it a fact attack. Did you know there was a sequel to Psycho called Psycho 2, to which he started?
Oh no, I did not.
And would you like another fact attack?
Was it terrible? Is that the fact?
There was a sequel to Psycho 2 called Psycho 3.
Oh god.
Would you like to know another fact?
Oh no, please.
There was a sequel to Psycho 3 called Psycho 4, A New Beginning, to which he stars as Norman Bates in all of them.
Wait, but I thought Norman Bates died in the first one.
I don't fucking know. I just know there's 4 Psycho movies. That's not including the one they remade with, the one Gus Van Sant did with Vince Vaughn and Julianne Moore.
That is 4 Psychos too many.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so, okay.
Yeah.
Just to get us back on track, had you seen any other, besides the 2017 one, any other kind of Poirot miniseries or movies and such?
Yeah, I would have watched the series, him and Marple sort of casually growing up, but honestly, nothing that really stands out. This is like the standout for me.
Okay, and because that, like, my next question was going to be, where do you rank Albert Finney's Poirot against the others?
Oh, okay. He is... Again, it's probably just biased because I love this growing up, but I know David Suchet is also very good. And frankly, as a child, I probably conflated the two of them together. And I was like, yep, same man. They both have
same
little black mustaches. Exactly. But yeah, no, I'm biased, but I think this tops it. I think just like the movie setting, because obviously like the series are great as well, but there's just something about like how cinematic it is, like the train. Oh, this is it. I'm also very biased with my love of trains.
So just another quick one, guys. If you like trains, this is a movie for you.
Sorry. So, have you ever been on a
Psycho 5, starring Sir Kenny Lachlan.
Train Psycho. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Have you ever been on a sleeper train?
Choo 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 choo.
Answer the question, Gary. Have you ever been on a sleeper train?
Have I ever been on a sleeper? No, I haven't. But I will say, I don't know if it's the sheer lack of not being able to travel internationally, or the appeal of it. But my God, did I just like the idea of being on a train for 3 days, like inhaling everyone else's farts.
Specifically inhaling everyone's farts. No, because I have been on many sleeper trains.
Oh wow! Look at you.
But like, I haven't been on one since I was 12, but we did a lot of train holidays growing up because my dad works for the railway here, and that allowed him a certain amount of passes for other European railways.
Oh, that's class.
Yeah, so growing up we got to do a load of train holidays on Daddy's dollar.
Yes, Daddy's bring us to a Kazakh, Istanbul next week.
Daddy owns the trains, don't you know? No, he's just an engineer, but he got a certain amount of passes. And we got to do like overnight trains and stuff, and I think that might be some of the bias as well, or some of the love. It makes me think of like that. So it was, because again, as like an 8-year-old, the fact that I was allowed like sleep on like a little fold out bunk on a train was like so magical, and you'd wake up in like, I don't know, you leave Paris and you wake up in fucking Switzerland or something. It was just like insane. So that's probably part of it. And yeah, sleeper trains, if you ever get a chance, good crack. I don't know, maybe as an adult, maybe it's not as fun, but it is definitely handy if you are like, okay, I can just sleep overnight and someone else brings me somewhere. This is great. And you get your little breakfast. You get like a little orange juice and whatever, and tea and coffee. Yeah, so I'm nobody gets a little croissant on a piece of orange juice in this movie. They get a murdered. No, they get a murdered, but they also get like 5-star 7-course meals because this is a luxury line. This isn't your fucking linea regionale in Italy. This is
I don't know what
shout
the
out there
to
it's the regional line in Italy. Shout out to any Italian train users who are listening.
Right.
So yes, if you like trains, if you like old Hollywood, if you like, what else? Sean Connery, this is the movie for you.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm going to ask another quick question before we get into spoilers, which was, so you watched this when you were very young, you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, because I, like I said, the first time I watched it was the 2017 one, so, and I think I maybe knew the twist, so I'm not asking you to give away the twist, but I'm just asking, did you guess the twist when you were watching it the first time, or?
I did not.
No.
I did not guess the twist. I was like, oh, my God, this is the best writing that has ever happened.
Yeah, because I think it's a good one. I like how it's done. I like how it's handled. It's kind of revealed pretty well at the end. It's definitely satisfying as well. It doesn't feel like one of those movies or one of these kind of whodunit things where it's like, I bet you didn't think it was this guy. And you're like, first, who is this person? Like,
exactly. Yeah, it's not
it doesn't come out of
shoehorned
nowhere.
in.
Yeah, which I think a lot of movies kind of try and do to like. I feel like it's an M. Night Shyamalan thing to be like.
Yes, it's not a satisfying twist if you just say someone else did it off screen or something like that.
And it's great because another reason why I loved watching this as well was because you can just see so many. You could see so many things have taken influence from it as well, which was great to see. Like even small things, like I feel like there's like Simpson episodes that are very similar to this, like even the Who Shot Mr. Burns kind of stuff, and even like some of this stuff where like we'd seen in modern movie, like some like Sherlock Holmes sort of portrayals we've seen at the moment have that big grand summation reveal and such. So like
that's the thing, like. It seems not tropish, but like to us now watching it in 2021, like you said, we can see like it referenced in other stuff. But I love the idea of, if you read the book for the first time whenever it was written, or you saw this on the big screen in the 70s and didn't know the twist, it would be like mind blowing. You're like, no one's done this. This is really interesting. Good job, Agatha Christie.
Yeah. So I think this is bad because I want to talk about spoilers. Well, I don't want to talk about spoilers. I want to talk spoilers and like small little details I enjoyed about the movie. So I guess if people haven't seen it, go off and watch it. It's definitely worth it.
If you don't mind standard definition, it's on YouTube for $2.99. But if you want high definition,
and
you can get it.
If your daddy works for the old Irish Rail and has that cash saving money on those European train passes and can splash out for $3.99, you can watch that bad boy in HD.
Ooh. I did watch it in $3.99.
Well, so did I. Nothing. I'm expensing it on the podcast credit card. Also known as my Revolut. So, spoilers. Do you want to talk about who done it, or I have some interesting Albert Finney facts from this.
Let's go Albert Finney facts. I don't want to up top say the spoilers immediately, because I want to talk about some fun little bits like.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to talk about how Albert Finney, I'm reading this in case you're wondering, Albert Finney required many hours of makeup procedures before shooting each day, and because he was performing in a stage play at the time, he didn't have much time for his badly needed sleep. A daily routine was developed, where an ambulance arrived to pick up the sleeping actor at his house in his pajamas, carefully trying not to wake him up. During the half-hour commute to the studio, the makeup artists would begin the rough work on his face. The rest of the fine detail work was completed at the studio on a still sleeping Finney. How extra do you need to be like, I am not waking up to put...
But also, how much work did he need? Surely it's just a little fake mustache.
So he was 37 when he filmed this.
What?
Exactly. So a lot of it was to do with making him look older, but also applying that very obvious black cement to where his hair should be. Sorcha, I want to talk nothing more.
He is.
If there's anything else that we talk about in this movie, it is the follicles on that man's head, whether it be at the top, the back, the sides, or under his nostrils, because there is stuff to be discussed here.
Oh, there's so much. His well lacquered hair.
Like, it looked like I can't describe it. It looked like a Lego figurine, like hair.
Just like, it was just, that would be faster if they just placed it on him every morning.
Do you know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, well that must be a bitch to wash out. Nah, he's not washing that out. He's putting a fucking hairnet on it and sleeping in it.
I love that. This is what I love about this portrayal of Poirot, is he's just camp little bitchy man. I live for it. He's like rude to people straight up. He puts on a hairnet, he moisturizes his hands like a little sociopath and then sleeps in gloves. And he has a mustache guard. He has his mustache like waxed, and he puts like what I can only describe as a mustache shaped sleep mask over his mustache to keep it set while he sleeps. And I'm like, just what a fastidious little weirdo he is.
And I kind of, at first I didn't like it because I was just like, he's weird. Where it was in my head, honestly, I was like, I kind of, even though it's shit, I kind of prefer the Kenneth Branagh one a bit, because at least he's coming off with the sort of prestige of a detective, whereas this guy is just a little, like, very pale, like, fucking wet-head weasel who's going around being all weird, because at the end of the day, it's Albert Finney doing a very piss-poor Belgian accent in a way. It's just beginning to turn Italian at times.
Sometimes it was, but he's playing the international man of mystery.
Yeah.
He speaks all the languages. Yeah. But no, the thing, again, I am biased, so, like, don't worry about me. But, like, his tone is better. I'm going to use tone a lot. But, like, 2017, he's like, I might be the greatest detective in the world. Yeah. While in this one, he is, like, bitchier. And he's like, he doesn't want to take on cases he's not interested in. He's not like, oh my god, yes, I am so smart, I'm going to solve everything. He has to be talked into doing this, which I kind of love. He's like, so two things he is like approached for, and he's like, no, fuck off. He gets approached by our murdered victim. He gets approached by Ratchet, Mr. Ratchet, to, like, protect him. Ratchet's like, oh, I think someone's after me, you know, I've been getting these threatening letters. And I wrote it down because I love it. Poirot says, like, I only take cases I'm interested in, and my interest in your case is dwindling. And I'm like, yes, you show him. And then when the murder happens, his friend who runs the line is like, you have to solve this murder. You're on board. And he's like, no, leave it up to the Yugoslavian police. I don't fucking care. Yeah. And I kind of appreciate that he's like, he's not actually trying to be a hero.
Yeah.
He's a bit unlikable, which I kind of like.
And that's what I kind of like, because you don't know, I think with the Kenneth Branagh one, we just have to compare it because it could just, but like, because I haven't read the book, because fucking Lily Nolan. not reading
That
books.
makes it sound like she has the only copy in the world. Like she's holding it from you. I haven't read the book because of Lily.
There's one copy in my local library and Lily keeps extending her.
She keeps going online and renewing it.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But yeah, so I guess when Kenneth Branagh is all like brooding and being all like, you know, clearly his head is always trying to figure out the case. Yeah? Whereas I feel like Poirot is just like, you don't know how to act around him. He only ever acts how he wants to act to get the information he needs from you. And I think that's a great scene when he's shouting at, I forget the actor's name or the character's name because I lost track because everyone's names are different at different parts of this movie.
Don't worry.
The one Sean Connery's character is having the affair with.
Ms. Debenham.
Ah, Miss Debenham, yes. So sorry to hear her shop closed recently on Henry Street. But it was a case of, he was very angry, he was so aggressive, and he was just like, I'd never seen, but you knew he was doing that to get Sean Connery's character back in the room. So I feel like he had a different approach with different characters to get different information. And I really like that, because at the beginning I was like, he's weird. And then when you see the big summation scene at the end, you're like, oh no, he's actually class, and he's just been, you know, playing everyone to making him think he's dumber.
You took the words out of my mouth. He plays everyone very well. So like, when he's, you know, he knows exactly how to get stuff out of people, so he gets everyone one by one to come in and give their, you know, where were you at the time of the murder, blah blah blah. And, you know, like for the Princess Dragomirov, he's like, I will see the princess in her room, you know, let her know I'm coming in 10 minutes. When he's talking to Bergman, she says that she is, you know, born backwards.
Yes.
Teaches the little brown babies, and you're just like, oh yeesh.
Yeah, it's a good thing we gave her an Oscar for this.
For this? I thought she...
Nope, she got an Oscar for this.
Oh my god.
Ingrid
I mean, she's a great
Bergman
actress, but yeesh.
She's not in it a lot. And
No.
Again, it kind of upsets me that she took, I forget, Madeleine Kahn, I think her name is, for Blazing Saddles, was also nominated this year and didn't get it.
I love Madeleine Kahn. She's so funny.
I know. Anyway, it's fine. Don't worry. It's a little missionary.
Babies. Oh god, it does not age well. But he, like, you know, changes his tone when he's speaking to her to, like, be much more, like, compassionate and, like, because she is, like, timid personified. She's, like, terrified of everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, he plays everyone off each other very well. And I love, it's like a minor detail, but so the people who we know didn't do it are him, because duh. And in the other carriage, there's two other men. His friend, Signor Bianchi, who runs the line, and a Greek doctor, who is just like the doctor on board. And so the Doctor and the Signor Bianchi are at all the interviews, and after every single one, Signor Bianchi is like, he did it, he had this. Actually, she did it.
Yeah. So I have this written down as, he is that guy when you play Secret Hitler and just thinks everyone is the fucking is Hitler, or like.
Yeah.
So only that we were playing like Resistance last night, and I was the guy who was like, it's definitely this person. I've never been so certain of anything in my life. And then someone does one other thing, and I'm like, it's this. It's that guy.
Yeah, so good. He's like, it must be him. Look at him. He's a weird little man child. No, it must be her. She's not right in the head. It must be her. She's suspicious.
But yeah, and also just to mention like Poirot solving the case, because it all makes sense at the end, but it's kind of like, it is quite interesting to try and solve it along with him, but he's playing a different game to you. Like, you're trying to play checkers and he's playing chess, like as an audience member, which I really enjoyed. But like, there was some bits where I felt his prestige lacked, in the sense that maybe he is a bit deranged, and I have written down because remember where he finds that robe? Yes. And he just manically laughs for what I felt was like, he's so happy about it, and I'm just like, he's not alright. He seems
suddenly we are in American Psycho or something.
Yeah.
And he finds this woman's silk dressing gown and is just like, ah ha ha ha, ah ha ha ha. So it's very nasal laugh.
Speaking of Psycho as well, I know we mentioned Anthony Perkins earlier, but he plays the same character in this.
He does. I was like, I definitely obviously wouldn't have known this as a child, as a 10-year-old. I wasn't like, oh, this seems very... But yeah, he's like this nervous man who's obsessed with mother figures, and you're like, okay, weird, go off, I suppose.
But then, like, he played... Well, obviously in 4 Psycho movies, he's played a character who's been having mother issues. I just thought it was very weird. I thought he was good in it, and like, I just felt like he was trying to be too suspicious, I felt. Like, I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, he was too, like, twitchy.
Yeah, because remember the last scene? He's literally, his eyes are darting, like, every direction to be like, I've been told to act nervous, so my eyes will keep looking at things that just aren't there, apparently.
Yeah. No, so the stellar kind of characters, in my opinion, are...
Oh, yeah, that's good. Who's your favourites? That's a great question.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking yourself.
Yeah.
Making my job easier.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both love... Sean Connery in this.
Yes.
Because they just wind him up, basically, and it's fabulous. So him on his own being questioned, and him coming to Miss Debenham's defense is great. Actually, he's one of the first people we see as well when they're boarding.
Yeah, because I have it written down here, which is our introduction to Sean Connery is telling sheep to fuck off and kissing women right away.
Absolutely.
It's like, look, yes, I'll be in your movie, but I'm telling livestock to get fucked and I want to kiss some women.
I love that he's carrying like a suit bag dressed in like tweeds on the Istanbul coast, just like kicking sheep out of the way so he can get to his boat. And yes, this very excited lady is waiting for him. And
there's not a lot of Sean Connery in it, though, I will say. There's not a lot of anyone in it, really. Everyone's kind of very briefly.
Because they have so many. So let's get to the kind of the nub and the gist of it. Who done it?
Everybody
done it.
Everybody done it.
So we have 12 suspects to work through. Yeah. So in a 2-hour movie, if you gave everyone 10 minutes, that's your 2-hour movie. So you do end up missing a lot of people. Including, there's 2 people who are just like completely afterthoughts.
Oh God, yeah.
The chauffeur and the random cop.
The cop and the car salesman. Oh, he's the chauffeur. He's the chauffeur. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because so the thing is, they all had a connection to the Armstrong case, to the little girl's kidnapping and murder. So she was kidnapped for
medium-sized girl. She was not little. I will die on this. I will die on this sword.
2 to 7-year-old Daisy Armstrong, and so they make a point of like, it wasn't just her that died. Like her mom, her ma, Sonia Armstrong. Anyway, so No, you go ahead. I'm losing myself now.
So this one I thought was kind of interesting because I can't remember the 2017 one. I'm just going to compare it to that, which was, I don't remember them being very hands-on with showing you the Armstrong case at the beginning of that one, whereas this, it's very much like, here's the Armstrong case, here's 5 years later. So I felt like, I can't remember, but I feel like the 2017 one was a bit more subtle about kind of mentioning the Armstrong case as like a previous thing that had happened, and it's interesting that this is all linking to that. Whereas I felt like this one was kind of like, here's the Armstrong case, remember this because it's coming back. So I kind of not spoiled it, but it kind of took away some of it for me. But yeah, so it turns out that the kid's been taken. The nanny was like tied up. The chauffeur or the butler was hit over the head. The chauffeur missed it all, I think. Then what happened was the mom ended up committing suicide, I think it was.
No,
afterward.
the mom died in childbirth of her
Oh,
next
sorry.
child.
Yes,
Who
apologies.
she was
yeah.
currently pregnant with, I think. The
And was
dad kills himself.
Yes, and then
And
the
the
maid.
nanny also kills herself.
Yeah. And what happens then is we find that these 12 people, 10 properly, 2 afterthoughts, who Agatha Christie was like, oh, 12's a good number. It's like 12 Angry Men. By the way, the same director for 12 Angry Men did this movie and did this movie as well. Yeah, they were like, who do we have that could do a movie about 12 people being angry about a murder? Get
The number 12.
Get Sidney Lumet. Lumet? I don't know. I can say Lumet.
I think Lumet.
But yeah, so it turns out like there's all these different connections to all these different individuals who were like harmed or from this Armstrong case, and it's done well. It's like it's kind of, it all makes sense in a way. I think some of it is just a bit like, I think you would have known that this person was the mother of this person, you know, like that sort of
there's
stuff.
some conveniences, but
like it's
other
a
bits I'm
2 hour
like,
and 10 minute
okay.
movie, so you kind of need to move through it quick enough. Like I think, like I don't know how long the novel is. Again, if Lily could just fucking let me have a look at that book.
If Lily would let anyone share and read over her shoulder, I would even Lily read to us. Lily, if you would even just do an audio reading of Murder on the Orient Express, so we could compare the literature to the film. This is an appeal. Lily Nolan, are you listening?
If guys, you want to follow me at www.gofundme/ Lily, give us that damn book.
God damn it, she did the murder. It was Lily Nolan who committed the murder. I just thought doxing her live on air.
But yeah, so I kind of, so yeah, I think it would have done a bit, like I'd love to see like a Netflix show or something like where they could really like let it breathe and nearly like a different episode on a different or like 2 different, you know, suspects and such.
Yes,
like
because I agree that like you would know like the faces of people, but I like how everyone managed to connect to the murderer without him knowing. That I liked. So so the murderer is this guy Ratchet. He's just like this American businessman or mafia boss or something. So like
he doesn't like his bowls to be chipped.
He doesn't like his chipped Angora bowls, Gary. Anthony Perkins is his secretary, and like everyone else manages to get on the train knowing like what his movements are, and he doesn't seem to recognize anyone on the train. So I was like, okay, I like that. I like that he doesn't know that like 12 people are conspiring against him. But yeah, if you were familiar with the case, as you know, Poirot says he is, you'd be like, hey, are you actually, no, I say that if I don't know, Madeleine McCann's auntie were on a train with me, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but you're not probably the world's greatest detective, certainly.
No, I lack the mustache. All the brains are in the mustache.
Quick thing on the mustache. That was Agatha Christie's only thing she wasn't happy with this movie was the mustache. She said that apparently the portrayal by Albert Finney was one of the closest to the novels she has seen, but she was upset by the mustache because, in her words, it was probably, or it's like the best mustache in all of England. And as far as like they said, like probably the best. And then when she saw that, she's like, that's not the best mustache in England. Okay. But I think that's something Kenneth Branagh definitely overshot for the second one anyway.
I think so. But in the this is Sorcha's moment to bitch about the 2017 one. They added in so much shite that was not in. They're like, let's add in racial tensions for no reason and like change the profession of some people. And one thing that's annoyed me about the second one, so I haven't watched it recently, but I may have found some clips online to compare. What happens is Colonel Armstrong, so the kid's dad, personally reaches out to Poirot in the 2017 version to solve his case.
Yes.
And then Poirot either like doesn't get round to it or something, and then this man kills himself, and I'm like, that's a weird direction to take it.
Again, it's dark and gritty. It's a dark and gritty portrayal of
it's so edgy. Oh my god, another thing that I hated is that like it wasn't
Sorcha,
good
we're
enough.
not talking about the 2017 one.
Yes, we are. It's not good enough that you're just snowed in. No, there has to be an avalanche on a rickety rail bridge over a steep cliff.
Look, just because movies have a bigger budget now these days, don't be getting annoyed at that. Actually, speaking of smaller budgets, I suppose for this movie, one of the interesting things I found was during that big summation scene. So yeah, there's like all these different connections to the characters, to this sort of case, and he brings them all into this train carriage at the end and kind of like walks them through his whole thing. And I love he does this whole like, he goes, option one is this happened, and it's like, yeah, this guy jumped on the bit, like some mafia guy was on the train, killed him, and then jumped off. And option number two, and then he takes 27 minutes to go through it, and apparently it's something like 8 pages of dialogue of Albert Finney's delivering. But also what I enjoyed was, if you looked at the size of the train carriage, it's tiny, as in,
yes.
And when you think of all the different shots, so apparently he had to do that again and again and again, just because they had to put the cameras in different places, because the cameras, it's a big fucking thing.
And you're cutting to different reactions.
Exactly. So they had to, so this was one of the longest scenes to shoot but apparently it was challenging. They thought it'd be challenging to tell all the other actors, hey, you're going to have to sit in a train for like 27 minutes and just like look at Albert Finney, and then we're going to probably have to do that again later on. But apparently some of the people were just like in awe of this tour de force performance. They were like, oh, I'll happily watch it. But another thing I loved about this scene, which was really cool, was, and it's something I hate in other movies, but you know where they kind of, like Guy Ritchie does it all the time, and he flashes back to like, I think if you remember earlier when this, you said this, and it cuts back to the exact same shot. But what I loved about this movie was it would cut back to probably like referencing conversations with characters, but it'd be like more of a sinister shot, and it seemed like what he was seeing at the time. He was seeing these people lie to him, and what was the word? Evasion!
Evasion! Yes, I love that. It was like a talking head, like dramatic moment. Yeah. It was so good.
It was so I was just like, I love that scene. It was great. It was very small scale, which is why I was comparing it to the other one, because it's more like, it's a much more grandiose carriage and there's more space to breathe, and but I think for this one, the claustrophobia of it all, it just really lent to like they're jailed in here, that none of them can make a break for it.
Exactly.
Which I really enjoyed.
Like what you were saying about when he does kind of stretch that muscle and show more sides of him, like when he's shouting at Miss Debenham, and here when he gets angry about like the Princess Dragomirov evading him, because we've seen him as just like this perfidious little like particular man, when he's then like, unbelievable evasion, what are you saying about it? I'm like, oh damn, he's like, he's not fucking around. But yeah, that's real. He's very good. He's very, very good as Poirot. He's very like, you get pulled into his performance, definitely.
Another performance I really enjoyed was the character of Hubbard.
The
loudmouth.
Oh my god, her. Yes, she's hysterical. Because everyone wants to avoid her. Because she just never shuts the fuck up. And she's fabulous.
But what I loved about it was she was doing that so she had more space to breathe, because she's like the mastermind of it all. And if more people are leaving her alone, that's, less eyes on her. I know majority of people on the train are in on it, but like everyone wants to stay away from her, so no one's looking at her like scheming and plotting.
Exactly.
Because I did think it was very ridiculous that character would be like, hey guys, I found this button, I think this might have something to do with this. Hey, I found this like thing, is this and then all of a sudden she like knocks on the window. It's just like, hey, I found this knife, do you think this has something to do with the murder?
I found this bloody knife, do you think this bloody knife has anything to do with the button I found? Yeah, she's so good. Like from the off, she's just like, everyone's avoiding her because she's like, well, my second husband never would have allowed for this sort of, can you believe it, the water burps when it comes out of the faucet, this is what I'm saying. So everyone's like, oh Jesus.
That's a very good accent.
Thank you, that mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, because I will say the accents of this go pretty wild. I think Eddie Izzard was my favourite accent.
What?
Oh, sorry, let me get their proper character name. Do you not remember Eddie Izzard in this movie? I think he was Hildegard Schmidt he plays.
Fuck, it is Eddie Izzard. That is.
Sorry, the actress is Rachel Roberts, but it looks identical to Eddie Izzard.
Very Eddie Izzard. So we'll put it up on the Insta.
We'll put it up on the Insta, yeah.
We'll put it side by side. Yeah. I have no word. I have no response to that. You've just nailed it. Yep.
Yeah. But like, there was shit. Like, there's a lot that like, it was very strange to watch because it was all of these. I haven't double checked it, but I'm gonna guess you're like English speaking actors doing like German and Hungarian accents and stuff, and I was like, God, like why have I seen this before? And then I've remembered I've watched 51 years or 50 plus years of James Bond movies, and I'm like, yes, sinister European accents. I could understand. Because it was great, because when I was watching this, I was getting From Russia with Love vibes, because it's Sean Connery on a train and a murder happens. So I was
and
like,
there's snow everywhere.
There's no snow in that, is there?
Is there one?
You're wrong. I'm gonna say
Okay.
you're wrong. Gary's right.
Yeah, no, you definitely know more about the James Bond.
But like they all sound like Bond villains, and all sound like it's that same accent. It's great.
Absolutely, like when the fiery Hungarian count is giving out about like the immigration guards eating like buttery rolls and getting grease on my passports. Those disgusting little plebs.
But who else was? So Vanessa Redgrave. I think she played
Miss Debenham.
Miss Debenham. We mentioned her a bit. I had this fact that I read, and I just thought it was. There's no fact attack for you. Is that in an interview, co-producer Richard Goodwin said that Vanessa Redgrave would spend all of her lunchtimes converting the workers to communism, making speeches about politics in the canteen, while the rest of the actors would sit and listen to Sir John Gielgud telling his amazing stories. Eventually, the guys at the canteen asked if we could get Vanessa to go and talk to someone else.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So I meant to bring that up when we were talking about Miss Hubbard.
Yeah, exactly. She in real life, off screen, she was the one who everyone was like, "Oh god, it's Vanessa coming to sell me on communism again."
yes, Vanessa, equal workforce for all.
She doesn't get actually too much to do on screen, except kind of be Sean Connery's side piece.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember her actually having any standout moments.
Not really. Like, I think a lot of them
Smirking
are like that.
deviously.
Yeah, like, I know, like, Hildegard gets her own kind of bit where they go find the photo box. Imagine that.
Oh my god.
Imagine if I said to you, hey, Sorcha, did you used to work with this person? Have you got a picture of them? Like, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Let me just get my suitcase where I keep all of the pictures of everyone I've ever met.
It's not only that, but it makes sure I travel with my suitcase of photos. And like, I don't know if they were in packets or just a loose suitcase full of photos just like clattering around in there. But yeah, and it wasn't even like it was a picture of the two of them together. Like, oh, here's a cute selfie of, I don't know, me and Gary when we went for coffee that one time. No, it's like a professional portrait. I just always have a picture of you on your Debs, like in my phone.
Oh, that's
always.
good. I'm happy about that.
In case I'm implicated in a murder.
Yeah. Being like, can we find this guy's the one of me making a goofy face? You're like,
Oh,
we're so... and then there was another person I wanted to talk about, which was Jacqueline Bisset, who plays Countess Adriani.
Oh, yes. The young countess.
Yes. It's now...
Not the Princess Dragomir.
No, not her. Actually, we'll talk about her. My God. Like, it's funny because and another thing I thought about when I was watching this, like, oh, who played them in the 2017 one and who played them in the... Like, it was very hard to remember, and I could see the easy comparisons with Hubbard being Michelle Pfeiffer in the new one. I think Dragunov, like, who else do you get other than Judi Dench for that?
Judi Dench, so good.
But this actress was fucking great. I loved her. She was really good. Though I forget what it was she said. So Poirot had asked something, and you can remind, but she goes, "My doctor has advised me against it." What was that about again?
Oh, he told her to smile more.
That was it. Yes.
My doctors have advised me against it. And when she orders her dinner and she's like, I will have the poached salmon and a side salad with no dressing. And it's just
great.
like, she is indiscriminately like either 80 or 2,000 years old. Like, it's fabulous. And she's got these stupid little dogs that are just get like handed to people during interrogations.
Oh God, she was born in 1912. That actress. My God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
Yeah, sounds about right.
She's dead. But next.
So the Countess, anyway.
Is there anyone else we haven't talked about? I feel like everyone's kind of like in it.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah,
They're the most interesting ones.
Yeah, like if we haven't mentioned them, they were kind of shit, if I'm honest. Oh, the butler. He was very British.
Oh, he was. Beddoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all I have to say about Beddoes. He's very British.
When he has his hilarious joke. What's your book about?
Oh, that's great.
And he's like, it's about 10:30.
I'm going to start using that now. I feel like that's such a garage. It's such a dad joke.
Pure dad joke. But yes, the Countess. You wanted to say something about the Countess.
Oh, the Countess, yeah. So
the young hot Countess.
The young, hot, sexy Countess. Don't know why I said it like that. So, this is even worse than what I'm about to say. So here is the last Gary fact I have about this. Which is that she was also in she was in James Bond movie. She was in Casino Royale.
The original, I'm assuming?
Yes, the one from the 60s. Would you like to know what character she played?
Oh god.
Because everyone was like, "Oh, the James Bond franchise, it got so campy. The names got so ridiculous." I will turn your attention to I think it's the 1967, I think it is, I forget. Casino Royale, starring David Niven, where Jacqueline Bisset plays Mrs. Goodthighs.
No, come on, that cannot be real.
No, 100% Mrs. Goodthighs.
Mrs. Good, how's it spelled? Like, just good thighs.
Yes, good thighs, yes.
It's not like they're trying to do a funny little play on words.
As in her upper leg is immaculate.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Good
Yeah.
thighs.
Yeah, it's a family name from Belgium, isn't it?
Yeah, good thighs.
The Good Thighs from Belgium. No, I think they're from County Carlow, actually, now that I think about it.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah,
no,
God.
fuck. Oh, shit, no, actually, I got the name wrong. It's not.
It's
It's
not
not.
Good
No, it's not
Thighs?
Mrs. Good Thighs. Sorry, it's Miss Good Thighs.
Oh. Please.
Yeah.
Mrs. Good Thighs is my mother.
she's hot, single, and on the market.
Oh my god. Does she have
Anyway.
road frontage?
I don't know. But yeah, that's there you go.
Yeah. But also
Other-
her name is spelled with a H. But Russian N looks like our capital H.
Yeah, that was another thing I got very confused about while watching this movie was Poirot is trying to solve whose handkerchief it is.
Yeah.
And I kind of kept, all the characters' names kept fucking changing. I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid. But like, everyone was like, yes, but my Christian maiden mother's left name is this. And I'm just like, what? I have no idea who's who anymore.
It says we don't have to go into it on air, but your family has enough names between them that
fine.
if there was a murder in the O'Brien
God, there
family,
would
you'd
be.
never fucking know who it was.
But that was one thing where I was like, what the fuck's going on here? But yeah, there was like this revelation that like a capital Russian N is spelt like a H, but he draws it on a window, like a window with condensation on it to remind us what it is. But what I loved about it was that they had clearly fucked up the last take, because you could see that someone has rubbed out the layer of condensation is like in different stages
didn't
from where
notice that.
like where he draws the H. Looks like someone has rubbed something out, so they clearly fuck. But I'm like, how do you fuck up a H?
He did an N. He was like, shit! No, a Russian N is capital H. I do like though that because this was all planned, you know, all the 12 of them had like, they planned and planted red herrings.
Yeah.
So they have this handkerchief and then they have like the robe and stuff. Because they were like, oh yeah, if it's just some like random, you know, beat cop from Yugoslavia, which is where they're stuck in the snow, they're like, okay, grand, there's enough evidence here. But for Poirot, it becomes like this little game where he's like, ooh, okay, why this and why this?
And there's some really cool solving scenes, you know, he does the thing with the hat boxes and the wax.
Yes, I love that.
There's some cool, there's just a sheer disregard of bodily health with all the drugs as well.
No gloves worn, just like...
Oh no, sorry, but also like just all the characters having drugs all the time, being like, I need to go to sleep, so give me some of the strong stuff, Mr. Butler Man.
Yes, without it even being like framed as if this is like sinister. He's like, bring me my sedative for the night. And you're like, oh, no wonder you got murdered, my man. Like,
I wish to
one
no
likes
longer be
you.
conscious. Bring me my good night drink.
Jesus. Yeah, and someone else is like, someone always has aspirin on them. Someone else, the princess always has drugs. Someone has like strong drugs, like a sleeping draft, and you're like, okay, I guess.
Another thing I want. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, another thing that we find at the scene of the crime is Sean Connery's possibly peep cleaner.
Peep cleaner.
His peep cleaner.
So what I understood was Poirot was mispronouncing it, but then Sean Connery's character proceeded to call it the peep cleaner.
As well, so it's
But
a pipe
I feel like Sean Connery just didn't read the script at all. He was just like, once I'm shifting mots and telling sheep to fuck off, I don't care. So he was just like, is that not pipe cleaner? That's the worst, sorry. Is that not pipe cleaner? And then he just is opposite, you know, Albert Finney, and he says peep, and he goes, well, I guess that's what it is then.
Yes, so he's like, this must be your peep cleaner, and he's like, yes, I smoke a peep, but this is not my peep cleaner.
No, he's like, shame Brand.
So good. His interrogation is so funny. I wrote another quote down. So they said something about Miss Debenham, and they're trying to like implicate that she's, you know, it's like, oh, you've been looking at her or whatever, and he says, that's a bloody irregular question. Miss Debenham's not a woman. She's a lady.
He's got a gentle side, that Sean Connery.
He does up until you're talking angrily at his mop, and he will then pick you up, turn you 180 degrees, and then punch you. He also just picks up this train conductor like he weighs nothing. It's fabulous.
Also, what I loved about that interrogation scene was all the sweat dripping from his clearly placed toupee as well.
What do you mean? That's his God-given hair.
No, it's funny. Like another so Sean Connery wore a toupee for most of the James Bond movies. Like, if you ever look back on set and he's like the receding hair, it's very jarring to see. But like, whenever you see Sean Connery with hair, I just don't think he wants to sit in a makeup chair or something, because you could always tell it's a toupee.
I wouldn't. Yeah, he'd be like, "No, it's good enough. We'll just get this over with."
Yeah. Look, there's a sheep. I want to tell her to fuck off.
You see Vanessa Redgrave over there? I'm gonna fuck her. Wait, I don't fuck her in the movie.
Well, I don't care if she's a commie. This accent's going. Speaking of loud, abrasive noises, did you enjoy the train noises in this that just made me think about like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, or was that just me?
I wouldn't have thought of that, but now I know.
I just kept hearing the train noises, and I'm like, I just keep hearing the train noise, and then someone saying, "Hooray!"
No, but I do love train noises in general, again, because of my love of trains. There's something very satisfying about train noises. I can also identify some of the bridge signs. If you're ever on the Dart, I'll tell you which bridge signs mean what.
Right. So I gotta...
I can tell you for a fact that my local Dart station is 9 3/4 miles from Pierce Station, because there's old mile markers.
So here's a fact attack for you.
I can also tell you, Carrie, that those mile markers stop at Pierce and do not extend to Tara, because Tara Street was added later. The Connolly line and the Pierce Street line were owned by two different entities, and they created Tara Street laterally to connect the two once it was nationalised. Isn't that interesting?
What is the most horrifying fact is that you weren't reading that off anything. Like, that was all from your brain. And I have never witnessed anyone being able to so fluidly get their thoughts out about any issue as I have just witnessed now with Sir Kenny Loughlin telling me about train stations in Dublin. There is an Ono Boyle right now who is immensely jealous.
Oh god, there was also a Harcourt Street line.
Oh no, you're done now, you're done. You're done.
Like, for context.
No.
Dear listener, no, not you, dear listener. I got a 3rd in university, and then this is because my brain is filled with this random fucking knowledge about train stations.
Okay. And that's your time.
That's why it's been great knowing you. Our friendship has actually ended. Our trial friendship has ended.
Right, I'm gonna get this back on track.
Hey.
Right, okay. Last thing I wanted to talk about. Well, not last thing I wanted to talk about. One of the things I want to talk about, because we haven't read the novel, because, as discussed, Lily's a little gremlin with the books. So, in contrast to the novel, in which the passengers admit to Poirot's accusation and then expand upon how the crime was committed, screenwriter Paul Den left the dining car in absolute stillness at the close of Poirot's summation. The passengers' silence was a painful admission of their guilt. The only plot element lost by this otherwise effective device was the passengers' revelation of the reason they decided to commit the crime en masse, as opposed to one of them acting on behalf of the family, so that none of them would have had to live with the guilt of knowing whose blow actually killed Ratchet. So in it, they drug him, and then everyone has one stab to go through. Like, they all stab him once, which is something that Poirot picked up on all the force behind each of these stabs, because we actually didn't say how he got killed. Drugged, something, murdered, whatever. And that was something he noticed. My thing was, I feel like if you're after stab number 4, you're probably just stabbing a corpse. He's probably dead.
Yeah, you can't be like, I murdered a man. You can just be like, I stabbed a corpse.
Yeah. No, it's just like, they're like, who possibly did it? And I'm just like, yeah, I think after stab number 5, it was safe to say you weren't the reason that he's not on this earth
Not just
anymore.
5 of 12.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, if they, obviously this would require many more knives and more space in the train carriage, but if they all did it at once, they all like lined up and took a stab at the same time, then you could be like, ooh,
like in Lord of the Rings, with the guys with all in synchronized stabbing.
Exactly, which is now in the Olympics, I believe.
Do you know what this movie should have been called?
Oh God.
12 Knives In.
That's terrible. You're ready to be a dad, though. I think your
ready.
dad jokes.
No. When God picked my profession, it was fun uncle.
Fun uncle and podcaster.
Right, we're getting to the end of this now, so I must ask you a question.
Oh,
which
God.
is,
Wait, no, go on.
Which is, right, how is this and why is it better? You have had your train spiel, so I'm going to give you another one. How and why is this better than the remake?
Oh God, it's worlds better. Cause yeah, like in the new one they try and add in like this race issue, which like they're doing just for internet points or something, because it's like the Disney thing, like the Disney moms, you know, they make a joke about it, like, oh, where are all the I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent now, but it's like they're just doing it for the sake of like, it's 2020, or at the time it was 2017. Like, yes, there was, you know, no big talks of politics or feminism or race in the 1970 movie, because it was just a little murder story. They don't have to hit every beat in this movie. The new one is far too high octane for absolutely no reason. They have Poirot like walking on the top of the train looking out over the thing. Like I said, they have it on a rickety bridge. So in the new one, they've also changed the professions of a lot of the cast, so it's hard to keep track of. But the Sean Connery in the new one is dating Daisy Ridley. It's Leslie Odom Jr. So he's black, she's white, that's like the whole thing. He, like, tries to shoot and kill Poirot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop this! And then they have the confession in like a hollowed out cavern, where everyone's on one side of a long
table now.
of a long trestle table that, you know, all these trains have. And there's too much silliness in the new one.
Yeah.
That I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. It takes me out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me it was, I just found the other one somehow bland. The new one, it was just like, I just didn't enjoy it. Now, I told you I had my rant to give out about, and now it's my turn. I've already given out to Lily Nolan. I'm going to give out to, I can't remember, it's either David Scanlon or Mark Tuddy, other podcast guests. So I watched this. I could go really deep into the story, but I'll try to keep it brief. Which was that I watched this movie on a flight back from from Las Vegas to Dublin. Very hungover, very tired. I wanted to watch a nice movie. On the way over, had really nice seats, had a really nice screen. On the way back, British Airways, shit screen, shit seats, squashed in. David and Mark were sitting behind me. This man goes, oh, hi, do you want to mind moving so I can sit beside my son? And David and Mark were like, oh, yeah. One of them was just, I think it was David, was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. And David was sitting directly behind. No. So, and it doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, so David then gets up, walks. We expect to see a child. Some 30-year-old dude sits down.
God.
Thinking, like, he's like, I need to sit with my son. But anyway, it turns out the guy didn't know Mark and David were together. Anyway, reason it pissed me off was because now this guy sitting behind me, knees into my back for the entire 7-hour flight. I'm trying to watch this fucking shitty, like, fucking mystery thriller on this shitty screen. This guy's kicking my back, so I'm pissed off as it is. And I just had enough of this movie, and then I got to watch this, and I'm like, oh, I don't hate the story anymore because it's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we could fix that.
Exactly. I wanted to stress how much negativity I had towards this story, and me having to do this for the podcast now has brought me back around. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. No, yeah, I mean, I'm unnecessarily harsh on the 2017 one, but I also don't care. It's stupid. Sorry, a point of the 2017 that I don't like is they go in and out of the train, and for whatever reason that really breaks the immersion for me.
Yeah.
It's like in the 2017 one, he will like interview some people outside in the snow, or like Josh Gad tries to run away with some documents down the rickety bridge, and I'm like, no, there's something, like you said, you mentioned like the claustrophobia of like, you're just in a train carriage, in an avalanche in the middle of nowhere, and you now are like, oh god, this man's gonna figure out that we all 12 of us, although fewer than 12 of us, killed this man. That annoyed me as well. I think that's the end of my grievances.
Yeah. All I'm going to ask is now, are you excited for the next one with Hungry Boy Army Hammer?
I didn't even realize that was happening until I rewatched the trailer today and realized that it was a setup for Death on the Nile.
Yeah, because at the end of that one, it's like, at the end of the 2017 one. It's like, hey, can you help me with a murder on the Nile?
Oh god, I'll probably again sort of like hate watch it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think we do for the pod. I think if you go see it, I think we do it for the pod, 100%.
Absolutely, let's go see it.
I've got my Omni Pass. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see it anyway. But what I will also do is say, Sorcha, thank you so much for coming back and doing a pod.
Woo, thank you for having me and letting me talk about one of my favorite movies. So thank
And
you very
trains.
much. And trains. I will tell you all. So if you
No,
are going,
no, I don't know what you're going to do.
if you're going under a bridge, the sign will say UB, and if you're going on a bridge that goes over a road, it'll be an OB bridge, and then there'll be an identifying number for the bridge, followed by what kind of line it is. So is it the Rossbear line? Is it the Belfast line? Is it the Limerick Junction line?
So what's funny was I wrote down, I had my Gary fact bit in this being like, am I being too indulgent? And then you come along and just blow that out of the water, so I don't feel so bad.
Oh, I've got hidden depths. Carry on, Brian.
Okay, I'm gonna finish this now before I fucking hear any more about this shit. But no, Sorcha, I genuinely though, thank you very much. This has been class. And I want to say thanks to anyone who's listened to this, particularly this one, and any of the other ones. If you want to keep up to date with the pod and know when new ones are coming out and see that picture of Eddie Izzard from this movie, you can follow at Reeling in the Piers. You can follow on Spotify, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Again, thank you very much. We really hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.